Hello there, all you wonderful web-wandering beasts. Pretentious Fiend here, looking silky smooth and aerodynamic today for the first time in a while. But today we're going to have a little bit of a discussion about Eurovision and Maneskin. Maneskin? Maneskin. Now this rock glam kind of band has really come into the forefront in international waters as of recent because of winning, of course, the Eurovision. But reaching back a little bit further than Eurovision, Maneskin came to prominence by being the runners-up on the Italian version of X Factor, and being, you know, a well-behaved, pretentious c***. I thought it would definitely be worth my time to go have a listen and see what they're all about. Much better. Much better. But before we get too far into this video, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click the little bell in order to stave off the unending, enviable, brutal sadness that I have to deal with.
Just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
And if you want to see more content with yours truly, I've started doing interviews over at Amplify. Click the link right here. Yes. So straight off the bat with the live version, it's good. They're a good band. They translate that rock and roll glam energy really well. In terms of sonics and musicianship, this is absolutely not covering any new ground. This is very much exactly the same sort of thing we've heard for the past 30 years in a lot of different parts of the rock community. But besides this band's energy, which they do really well, this is an act that is going to live and die by its vocalist's attitude and charisma. And it's plain to see he's quite an animal. He's quite like a creature that you do want to look at. You do want to see what he's doing next. He does have that old school rock and roll serpentine creature kind of vibe. A really peak moment there, besides that big last riff which had a great sense of size and it really does work well for a stadium. The absolute peak part was in that second verse, the kind of vocal cadence which is very, very, very liquidy and very, very, very rhythmic at the same time, and it had a really nice bounce to it. And it was great to see very clever usage of the Italian language in terms of just the phonetics. I can't speak Italian, I don't know what the f I was saying. And I know it's the done thing with anything rock and roll to talk about how good the guitars were, but the real standout stringed instrument here was the bass. There are some really nice little bass lines and some really thick little creepy slides of the bass and a lot of nuances that gave it this big walking vibe, this very sexy big walking vibe. And I think seeing a band like this win Eurovision is not unexpected, because there has been a growing resurgence with a lot more old school rock recently. You know, you do look at Greta Van Fleet's and you do look at a lot of younger rock bands popping up and promoting themselves on TikTok and everything. And I think that's because we needed a bit of a distance. Rock hit a point in the mid to late noughties where it started to get just overdone, overblown, and it was just filled with the old guard who were holding down what rock was really tightly and intensely. And I think we've had a good decade of distance with a lot of that. And so younger people are starting to fall in love with the more eccentric and progressive sides of rock. You do look to the 70s glam where the lines between gender were blurred, and you do look to a lot of anti-establishment kind of lyrics. But looking at another one of their songs, or one of their older songs, one that has 110 million views on YouTube, Torna a Casa, it is evident that this was a very heavily produced pop track. And you can definitely see that as much as they have that rocky taste, that rocky element, that I think this is something they're really indulging in at the moment. I think there's a lot of space for bands to start exploring with that heavier tones, because I really do think, and we're going to go out on a bit of a limb here, we're going to go on a bit of a divergent path, because Brandon likes to rant. I do think at the moment a lot of the lines between genres are being blurred, not just meaning that genres intermix, but in fact that you can be a fan of something really solid. You can love really heavy rock stuff or really heavy metal stuff, and you can easily go across and love really glitzy, glamorous pop as well. The social boundaries between these genres are really starting to fall. No longer are people having to safeguard their alternative identity because,
oh no, what will someone think of me if I listen to pop music?
And so this really allows there to be a band like a Greta Van Fleet or a band like Maneskin. All in all, an act like this, I will think is very healthy for the idea of rock. Yes, it is not covering any new ground. Yes, it is just reimagining, shall we say, of that old school 70s rock energy. That's not a bad thing. But it will allow so many more younger people to fly through them and fly through their influences and go and create awesome bands of their own. And I will always stand by this. And I think that any old head who has anything otherwise to say really needs to shut the f up, to be honest. But that is my humble, albeit very pretentious opinion. Make sure you go below and check out the links, go listen to the song, come back and comment. Brandon Valentine, the pretentious fiend here. Until next time, disregard society in its entirety, and for goodness sake, remain filthy.